Hey, what's up, guys? This is Audie from Sastry Nation, and I'm back with another biology video. I can't believe it's already Monday, but today we're going to be talking about pedigrees. Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and get started now that you're back from the intro. So let me go ahead and write that down. Get another color. It's pedigrees. Okay, so pedigrees. And I was, I was thinking about this. It was like, it feels like I just did this video, like a video like this, like a couple of days ago or something like that. But, it's been 7 days and it's already Monday, I guess. So it's interesting how time flies when you're enjoying yourself, I guess. I don't know. This video is going to be fairly short, in my opinion, compared to the other videos that I've done, especially like cellular respiration and things like that, which take like 30 minutes or so to do. But these videos are going to be pretty short. At least this one is going to be pretty short, because there's not really that much to cover. Once you get the hang of it, you'll understand how these things work, and things like that, and you'll have a good understanding of how this works. Alright, so what you will need to know to watch this video is you will need to know how to do Punnett squares. They're pretty simple to do. I mean, I can show you right here. It's pretty easy to actually do those. But I guess we can go ahead and start out with actually making a tree, and we'll go from there. We'll figure out what these lines mean and things like that, because there's a couple of things that you'll need to know for each of them. Okay, so like that. Let's just go one there, and then sorry, my squares aren't that perfect, neither are my circles. So just bear with me, we get the point across, it's all good. And then we'll have one circle there, I guess, and then we'll have maybe a square right here. Okay, so you should have a, oh, 1 second, let me go ahead and fill that in, and then okay, so you should have a basic, understanding of what's sort of happening here. But basically, if you don't, we'll go ahead and label the parts, I guess. So I'll label that in like green or something like that. So basically, a square, or this poorly drawn representation of a square, is a male, actually. So a square is going to be a male, and then a circle is going to be a female. Okay, so basically, that's about it, for male and females. Now, basically, they'll also, ask you to actually, label the generations and stuff, or at least in, like, pre-AP bio or the first year of bio, they'll ask you, but second year of bio, they won't ask you. So, basically, you label the generations in, Roman numerals, so, this one would be the first generation, this one right here, this one would be the second, and then this one would be the third. So, that's basically how that goes. And then to be more specific, you go in and you, label the, actual people. So, and you restart it after everyone. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. So when I'm referring to this person right here, I would say, in generation 1, the first person or something like that. Or for here, I'd say in generation 2, the third person in generation 2. Basically, that's how you label it, and that's how you get your word across, things like that, to make it easier to, communicate about what's happening in one of these. Okay? So basically, a pedigree, I guess I should probably explain that if you don't know what that is. A pedigree is basically a family tree. And, you can use pedigrees to figure out, like, the genes people have and things like that, and for certain things. And we're actually going to do that right here with this example. But basically, you can do that. Okay, and so, if you haven't already noticed, this shows a generation. So, from generation 1 to generation 2, this is the line that connects them, so that's a formation of a new generation. And, a line like this shows a, marriage. which will, again, make another generation, basically. Okay, so another thing, we're almost already done with this video. So it's pretty short, like I said. But what they're gonna do, what they're gonna ask you is that they're gonna give you a before I move on to that, when it's shaded in, that means that it's actually that it shows or it has the genotype or the trait. Okay, so basically, if it's shaded in, it has the trait. So has the trait. So it has the trait. Basically, what they're gonna, I'm gonna go back to what I was about to say. But anyways, basically, they're gonna have you, they're gonna give you a pedigree like this, and they're gonna ask you, like, okay, is this a autosomal recessive? Is this an autosomal dominant? Is this, or is this a sex-linked trait, or or anything like that? And they'll ask you things like that, and then you'll have to figure it out, basically based on what you know. There's actually some easy ways that you can figure it out, but I mean, once you get the hang of it, you will be able to figure it out for yourself. Okay, so first we can, I guess, we can figure out if this is recessive or dominant by actually just plugging in values. So I'll go ahead and do that in like yellow. So let's just assume that this is dominant. So we'll say she has big A, and then he has little a, I guess. Okay. Or she could also have, big A, little a, because that would also mean that they have it too. But, okay, so, one of the things here is that you can actually figure that out. If you drew a Punnett square, since both of those are actual possibilities, you can, obviously you can assume that, because, if we put that in there, all of them would have to be dominant, you would have to assume that this one is wrong. Okay, so it would have to be that. Okay, so A, big A, little a, and then little a, little a. Okay, so we would have, out of 4, we would have 1 dominant and then 3 recessive. Now, this could be an answer, okay, or, if we said that this was recessive and we switched these two, we had big A here, and then, sorry, let me just keep that there. Okay, so if we had big A here, and then if we scratch that out and we had little a here, so if we had big A, let's see if we can draw a square here. Okay, so if we had big A, and then we had little a, we could have big A, little a, big A, little a, big A, little a, and then little a, big A, little a. Okay, so all of them would be, all of them would be dominant, and so they wouldn't have the trait. Now, obviously, we can do that too, but both of these would technically work, because there's always a chance of having more recessive than things like that. But for this situation, I guess we could just go with what you would do in this type of a situation is you would write A and then you would write a question mark, because this could be anything. It could be you would write question mark A, little a. Because really it can be both a, little a, and a big A, little a. And it would work out as I've shown you here. It works out. Now here, you would write, question mark, because you really can't, make out like what it could actually be. But for both situations, it would work. But, for our purposes, we're just gonna go with, this being, little a. So let's go ahead and write that in a different color. So, we'll go ahead and do that in this one. Okay, so little a. That's the one we're gonna go with. Whatever, we're just gonna go with that, because it'll make our lives a lot easier by doing that. And in the end, you'll figure out that this is, whatever it's supposed to be. And there's actually a little trick to figuring that out, okay? So basically, little a, and then this would be, this would have to be, so it can't be that, so it would have to be big A, or big A, little a. So we would still have to write a question mark there, because it could be both, really. No, actually it can't, sorry. it has to be yeah, it has to be big A, big A. Yeah, so yeah, it has to be big A because then, you know. So we already did the Punnett square for that. And so basically we're gonna go ahead and put down that this is big A, little a, big A, little a, big A, little a, and then big A. We actually don't know about this one, but we can figure that out by doing this. So this one would have to be little a, because this one is little a, little a. If it's recessive, and we're assuming that it is recessive, we would have to put that down there, because if it's recessive, you would have to have two recessive traits to actually have the trait. Two recessive alleles, sorry, to have the allele, not the trait. So basically, if we do that, and, you know, basically, if we had to do this as little a, and this one's not shaded, this one would have to be big A, little a, if you think about it. So let's go ahead and match those up. So big A, little a, and then big A, little a. So go ahead and just match those up, basically. Okay, so it would have big A, little a, little a, little a, and then big A, little a. Okay, obviously you can see here that one of them came out as this, so that's good. And then the other one here could be either big A, little a, and that's about it, because the other one's just the same. So obviously what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to say big A question mark. That would be the final answer for that. Now, you know, obviously we could go either way with this, but if they really asked us, you know, like what would you say this, both answers would work. So we could say that it is dominant, and we could say it's recessive, but really it's going to be recessive because that's the easiest option that expresses everything, you know, properly, I guess. So basically we're going to go ahead and say it's recessive because that's what we went with. But if everything works out, then it works out. You know what I mean? It's fine. But basically what they're going to say is, you know, okay, this is recessive. Go ahead and, you know, label the parts, or they'll label the parts for you and they'll be like, okay, what is this? Or they'll show you the diagram and they'll be like, okay, what is this? Or something like that. And there's a couple of tricks for those. But I mean, if you really understand what you're doing, you'll figure it out. It's pretty easy to figure those out. So one of the tricks is for recessive is the fact that, you know, if one of the generation, if a person has it and then skips generation, another person has it, like we're seeing here, then it's going to be recessive. You know for sure that it's going to be recessive. But you know, these tricks aren't that, you know, like hard, you know, if it's there, it has to happen or something like that. Because obviously, you know, for example, if we had someone here, you know, that had it, because they're not a part of the family, like, they're not in the family itself, they're not going to be carrying the family gene, and so they're going to produce different offspring, obviously. And so, basically the thing is that, you know, really, I wouldn't really use the tricks, but there are some to lead you in the right direction, maybe save a bunch of, you know, I guess, work. Because, you know, as you can tell, I did a lot of work, you know, there's a lot of work here, even for this small one. They'll give you huge ones on the, tests and stuff like that. But, you know, obviously there's some small ones here, that we worked on, and even for that, we had a lot of possibilities and stuff. So, I mean, I guess it could help you with, a little bit with, you know, how to actually do it and lead you in the right direction, but I wouldn't totally base your whole decision on what you think the answer is based off of a trick like that. Okay, so, I guess we can end it at that, and, really that's about it. I mean, I think we're at like 5 minutes or so, right now. No, I think like 10 minutes. I don't know. Personally, I didn't keep track of time. I guess we'll see at the end. But this is probably gonna be my shortest video, honestly. I mean, I guess DNA Tech would probably be the shortest. I don't know. I'm just gonna be babbling on about something. But anyways, you know, if you like these videos, I would go ahead and, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do these videos, or at least I try to, every Monday, unless something, you know, major comes up, like a test or something like that. You know, I most likely won't skip these videos, because I'll try to do them as much as I can. And also, you know, I know I haven't been posting that many gaming discussion, tech discussion-ish videos that much right now. I mean, I am working on one of them right now. It's mainly because E3 just went by and not a lot of companies are actually going to be releasing a lot of information on their products and things like that, because if they wanted to, you know, they probably already did it at E3, because anywhere else it's pointless to actually do so, because there's really no point. E3 is like the prime time to actually go ahead and release that information with, you know, where millions of people can know about what you're talking about. So basically that's basically why I'm not releasing that many videos. I mean, for the smaller articles and things like that, like, you know, I made a article post about Nintendo, the Nintendo NX rumors and things like that. It was about a paragraph long. Honestly, I'm not going to be making videos for every single, you know, article that comes by. I'm basically going to do whatever I was doing, which was, to just make a video on, something that interests me. You know, like, for example, the Ubisoft announcement is what I'm working on right now. That interests me, so I actually made a video about it. That's about it, really. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, if you're not a gamer, I would just turn off this video right now, because I'm just going to be talking about this. But anyways, I guess we can go ahead and, end the video. Basically, you just need to know all of this. Really, there's no other way around it. There's no way around it, through it, under it, over it, nothing. You just have to know this material, and you need to understand it. If you understand it, you'll be able to breeze through these problems, and there will be a lot of them, on the AP test and things like that. Depending on what year you take the actual class, things like that. But anyways, you know, that's about it. And I am going to leave now, so I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.